cancer and rang the bell yesterday. The couple who allegedly tortured 3-year-old Josiah Limuel to death were indicted, and Sid Miller is in studio to talk about the Trump assassination attempt and agriculture. I'm James Bellini, and this is Live. We'll get to the news in a minute, but first, a quick message from Mammoth Roofing.
Hi, I'm Trisha Lira, third-generation roofer and owner of Mammoth Roofing Services. I love what I do, and what I do is build the world's best roofs. Need financing? I got you. 12 months, 0 interest. I'm Trisha Lira. I want to be your roofer for life.
Starting off the news is some fantastic news as 4-year-old Maverick Davis, who was diagnosed with Burkitt lymphoma leukemia earlier this year, officially beat cancer this week. Burkitt lymphoma leukemia is a rare and aggressive form of cancer, but that didn't matter to Maverick as nurses and other personnel lined the hallways of the hospital to cheer him on as he rang the bell and is cancer-free. That little dude straight up kicked cancer's butt. The San Angelo Independent School District Board of Trustees decided on July 22nd to take no action on the proposed property purchase near Fort Concho Elementary. The proposal was to add a parking lot for the school, but it was decided that the lot would not meet city code requirement without significant investment. Due to the parking requirements, the city could not use crushed limestone, and it would take either pouring concrete or pavement to build a lot, and you'd also have to add in about $90 grand. That being said, parking is still a concern with teachers and personnel having to park elsewhere when going into work. Given the constraints, though, the board just decided to take no actions. Have you downloaded the all-new San Angelo Live mobile app yet? It's free and it's the best app in the business. Download it off the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to stay up to date with news in San Angelo. The couple who were arrested in April for the death of 3-year-old Josiah Limuel have been indicted for several crimes. Like Chytel Limuel and Mark Neebs were both indicted by a Tom County grand jury for various crimes against children, including injury to a child and aggravated kidnapping. According to court documents, Limuel and Neebs allegedly agreed to withhold food from Josiah for some time, and on January 18th of this year, he was found unresponsive. His body temperature was so low they could not even get a reading, and at the time of his death, he was in the 0 percentile for weight. Both are still inmates in the Tom Green County Jail, being held on over $1 million bond each. Neebs was also indicted for assault of a pregnant woman for allegedly beating Limuel, who was 9 weeks pregnant at the time, with a broken piece of trim. And to weather, the heat is back. Right now it's 93 degrees, and the high today is 96 with a low tonight of 68. Friday, the high is 96 with a low of 70, and the highs on Saturday and Sunday mirror each other with 97, and then lows will be in the mid-70s, or excuse me, the low 70s those nights. On Wednesday, it'll be hot again at 99 and with a low of 74, or excuse me, on Monday, it'll be 99 and have a low of 74. On Tuesday, it'll be 99 again with lows in the mid-70s, and then Wednesday, the high is expected to be over 100 at 102. When we come back, Ryan Check will have sports, and then Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller, who was in Butler, Pennsylvania during the attempt on Donald Trump's life, is in studio. But first, a word from the Bass Bunch.
It's our giant tag sale at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks.
Just cutting up tags for our giant tag sale.
Right now, during our giant tag hail sale, you can get a brand new 2024 Nissan Versa for just $15,999.
Don't miss our giant tag sale only at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston, Hart, and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
The Angelo State Rams football team participated in the Lone Star Conference's football media days in McKinney on Thursday. Head coach Jeff Gersh and 3 of his players spoke with the media to answer some questions about this upcoming 2024 season. Gersh said that despite their impressive 7-3 record, the Rams fell short of expectations last season. He added that he's excited for what Angelo State brings to the table this year. The Rams were picked to finish second in the LSC in the preseason Lone Star Conference poll. Last season's runner-up Central Washington claimed the top spot with UTPB in third. Angelo State opens the 2024 season on the road in Hades, Kansas against Fort Hays State on August 29th. And for more sports around the Concho Valley and beyond, be sure to check in every day at sanangelolive.com/news/sports.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
Well, welcome back to the show. I'm Joe Hyde, publisher of Financial Alive. Today, I have someone who's famous in Texas with me. Sitting next to me here is Sid Miller. He is the Texas Agricultural Commissioner, and we were lucky enough to get him here because I emailed his office. I said, you guys were the first political ad ever purchased on Financial Alive back in 2014 when you ran the first time.
I remember y'all were just getting started up and going, so
yes, sir.
You've done well for yourself.
Well, thank you. You've done well. I mean, you keep getting reelected.
Yeah, 3 times. So
3 times?
Yeah.
Are you going to go for 4?
I don't know. We'll see. I hadn't thought about it yet.
You and I are both getting up in age. We could be like in Biden area.
Well, we're not that. No, we're not near there.
So you've been involved in obviously statewide politics, but also we've had one hell of a roller coaster ride for the last 20 days or so.
Yeah,
and you've been in the middle of it. So just kind of give me a rundown of what you've seen.
Well, so about 2 months ago, I'm sitting there thinking, this cowboy logic kicks in. Trump's not going to be able to get out and campaign. They're going to keep him in the courthouse or the jailhouse. That's the plan.
Right.
And they had other plans too. Later, I found out. So I decided that I was going to be a surrogate speaker, and I've been a surrogate speaker for Trump in previous elections. Mm-hmm. So I came up with this idea that I was going on a gas and groceries truth tour.
Okay.
So I got this double-decker bus, and I wrapped it, and I've got the charts, how much gasoline's gone up, how much groceries have gone up, and I got a picture of Biden on there. I said, I did that, and so I'm going to tour all the swing states, because after studying it, if I can move 1% of the vote, he wins every swing state. That's how close they are.
Right.
So on the way to the National Republican Convention, I decided, well, I'll swing by Butler, Pennsylvania, and go to the rally.
So you were actually there?
Oh, I was there at the rally, front row, 30 feet from Donald Trump when he got shot.
In case people are watching this 10 years from now, Butler, Pennsylvania was where assassination attempt was made against Donald Trump. But you were at the rally.
I was right there, just 30 feet from it, front row. And the first shot was a pop. It wasn't very loud. And I thought, I didn't see any balloons. Who's got a balloon out here? And then it was pop, pop. And I thought, oh, no, those are gunshots. But I thought it was like a small caliber 22 or something because it wasn't very loud. So I turned to look at Trump, and he's just grabbed his ear, and blood's running down his face and the side of his hand, and he goes down, and I'm looking for the shooter. There's a lot of people.
Are you in the stands kind of behind him, or are you in front?
I'm not in the stands. I'm standing up against the rail, and the stands are behind me.
Okay.
So he dives down, and then there's 5 more very rapid shots. By that time, the Secret Service agents are on top of him. And everybody around me, they're on the ground or getting as low as they can. I'm just standing up. I'm looking for the shots. We got to find this guy. Where is he? We got to jump him. And I never could find him. So it kind of quietened down. I could hear screaming behind me. So I looked behind me, and there was a gentleman got shot in the head. He died. And then there's a woman shot in the chest. And then I just talked to Congressman Ronnie Jackson's nephew. He was sitting just a couple of chairs behind me. He got one in the neck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it wasn't.
And of course,
it was superficial. I think they passed. I don't think he went to the hospital.
So Ronnie Jackson is the congressman of Amarillo to Wichita Falls. So he's kind of like the August Pfluger of Amarillo.
That's it. Yeah, so. Yeah. He's a contemporary of August. So by this time, Trump's getting up. Because I thought he was probably dead. I figured he got 4 or 5, body shots.
I was in Lubbock because we were building South Plains Live. So I was in Lubbock on Saturday, and I was actually happened to be watching the live stream, of it going on. And I said, "Holy crap!" And I was thinking, was this on YouTube? You're not sure if you're watching if it's really live or not. And I was like, was that live? And so I went to Drudge Report and rantonlee.com trying to figure out if they had nothing there.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, I think I just watched history. And I came back to the YouTube, to the live stream. I said, sure enough, it was live. And I'm like, holy crap, I just saw, and then I was kind of worried. I was like, is he, how Reagan got shot in the chest and he didn't even know he was hit until they got to the hospital. So that was what I was worried about. Because, I mean, I saw Trump walk off, but I was worried that, something might got in there.
He gets up and everybody's just relieved. And most people, a few people ran, but most people just stayed there. And I can see the look in his eyes. He's looking at that microphone. He's going back to the mic. He's going to finish his speech.
Really?
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it in his eyes. But with 6 or 7 agents hanging on to him, he
wouldn't let him do it.
Wouldn't let him do it.
So he couldn't do that.
But he did get his, a couple of fist pumps like that.
Wasn't it Teddy Roosevelt who got shot and he continued this? Which
90 minutes. He went and finished his speech and then went to the hospital.
And they say he's tough as a bull moose.
That's it. Yeah.
Anyway, so after it happened, what was it like then? Did they clear y'all out really fast, or
no? And the shots stopped, and I'm thinking, if one of these, and the Secret Service guy, he was like, we could have shook hands, one of them, but there was several. I thought, no one ever shot back, because if one of those 9mm handguns or 45 went off, I mean, it would have been a distinct boom instead of a pop. Mm-hmm. And I never heard that. So I thought, we still hadn't caught this guy. We hadn't found him. I kept surveying the crowd, couldn't find him, couldn't find the person. And then I thought, well, it must be some of these guys in the camera pit, because between the stage and the railing are all these photographers. They're kind of kneel down, they're click, shooting stuff. And I couldn't find any of those that looked like a shooter. So I was really puzzled. And then after about 20 minutes, they, started dispersing the crowd. And I thought, well, wait a minute. We can't leave. The guy's still here with us.
Right.
We come to find out a sniper with a suppressor or silencer, had taken the shooter out. Mm-hmm. And of course I didn't hear that, and that's why I was confused.
Right. So did you as a Texas statewide politician, do you have that kind of access where you can go drive up to the hospital and say, "How's my buddy Trump?" Or is it?
Well, there's no way. He was probably back. He was long gone from Pennsylvania at the time we got out of the parking lot, because it was like 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
To get out of the park. There was probably, I don't know, I haven't heard, but I'd say 40,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
If you've ever gone to one of those rallies, you better get there 4 or 5 hours early, because you're going to be in the, in line trying to park for a couple of hours, then you're going to be in line trying to get in for another couple of hours. So it's a mass of people, trying to get out of there. So no, I didn't go. There wasn't an opportunity to do that.
Were you at the convention, the Republican National Convention?
Took the bus from Pennsylvania all the way up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We were there. Mm-hmm. I was down on the floor with the delegates, mm-hmm. and got to see Trump give his speech there. And
a lot of people see, we have a mutual friend on Twitter named Scott Braddock from the Farm Report, right?
Yeah.
And he is the first one to criticize anyone who's conservative, right? Yeah. Typical, right? Typical of Mr. Quorum Report. But he said that the speech was just too long.
Yeah, well, it's typical Trump speech. They're all long.
Yeah.
But
he raps.
Yeah, I mean, he gets off script, and and then he'll get back. But there was nothing unusual about it being long. They're all long. You know, he's supposed to talk for 45 minutes at his rallies, and he ends up speaking an hour and a half. So it's typical.
That's part of his shtick.
Yeah.
What he does. Any other, like, let's say, Texas politician do you think made a good impact?
Well, we were there in force. Governor Abbott was there. Dan Patrick was there. Ken Paxton and myself were the statewide that attended. Mm-hmm. There were a few state reps there, but not many. They were actually, for some reason, set up hearings during the convention in Austin. So
what were they hearing about?
Well, Andrew Murr, who chairs the General Investigating Committee, was having Of
course, he's from Junction.
Right. Of course, he's on his way out. They were having some secret, committee hearing on whatever, the criminal investigation they're looking at. No one knows.
Ken Paxton again?
Well, Ken seems to think it's about him, but Andrew Murr said it wasn't. But we don't know what they were meeting about. They met in secrecy.
Huh. And they've been meeting, like I think yesterday I saw some tweets. I wasn't up there in Austin, but they were talking about how they had a meeting. They had a committee meeting on the Chinese buying land.
Oh, I've been working on this for 5 years. The stupidest thing we do is let our enemies buy our farmland next to military installations, put up wind farms, access to our food supply, our grid, and to our top military secrets. I was shocked. The hearing yesterday, the Farm Bureau got up and testified in favor of letting the Chinese to continue buying farmland.
And why that's important for down here is
Unreal.
People may not be familiar with it, but there's a Laughlin Air Force Base down by Del Rio, Texas. Yeah. And the Chinese have bought some land near there, and they're putting up wind farms.
Not some land, 130,000 acres.
By Laughlin Air Force Base.
Yes.
And the history of Laughlin, I flew there. I was in the Air Force. I flew there. It used to be a U-2 spy plane base back in the 60s. And, I mean, that was the most secret program we had in the Air Force.
Absolutely.
And it was stationed at Del Rio. Now, today it's flying training wing, so it's just a bunch of trainers. But who knows? I mean, that used to be a remote place where the Air Force could do secret stuff.
95% of the people in Republican primary, there was a ballot question. Should we stop, should we stop selling the farmland to our enemies? Mm-hmm. And it was a 95%, the highest vote on the election.
Percentage.
Yeah,
right.
95%. I couldn't believe the Farm Bureau came out and said, well, it's a power property. You should be able to sell your land to whoever you want. At some point, patriotism has to trump property rights.
So do you think that the Farm Bureau is doing it because their constituency, they think, would make more money if you had more open market for farmland?
I think their constituency would agree with me. We don't need to be selling a farmland to China.
So
without a doubt.
So have you called the Farm Bureau? And
I sent them a note this morning, but I haven't heard back from them. They're good. They're good guys for the most part. I like them. It's a good organization.
Sounds like
I just disagree with them on this item.
Sounds like maybe the staffers took over.
I don't know.
But anyway, Farm Bureau comes out in a hearing and says we want to be able to sell our land to the Chinese.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, farming is looking up this year. We've had 2 big rains out here.
Finally,
What do you think? You were talking about you have to have cycles for the farm. Like you need to have a good year followed by maybe 1 year that's bad, 1 year is okay, and then another good year. And we haven't really had a good year in about 4 years.
Well, we'd like to have a good year, then a great year, then another good year, and a great year. But of course, I travel the state, all over, and coming down, I drove from Stephenville, Brownwood, down this way. The cotton looked pretty good, actually. It looked best I've seen it in a while. So there's other area of the state around Big Springs, they're struggling out there. The high plains around Lubbock, it's looking pretty good. Mm-hmm. They may have a good crop out there too. So South Texas is still without water. We've got a huge water problem down there. We just closed the last sugarcane processing plant in the state.
That was in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah,
right?
in Rio Grande Valley.
What way is it because of urban sprawl?
No, it's water shortage. There's no irrigation. They just bulldozed 6,000 acres of citrus. Couldn't water it. So we've got a water treaty problem with Mexico. We're trying to work. They won't pay up, but we're also not being proactive. Our irrigation canals down there lose 40% of the water. They're so antiquated. We're not upgraded. The cities lose up to 30% of the water once they get it. That's 70% of the water that we do have we're wasting. Mm-hmm. We've got to get in there and fix our infrastructure.
Okay. So the problem is the water's evaporating, basically.
Yeah, running through busted concrete waterways.
Old pipes and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, every city in Texas has old pipes. I mean, we have a problem here in San Angelo. I mean, I don't know how many miles of pipe we have, but a lot of it's broken.
Well, and we have a way to fix that. The Texas Water Development Board has several $1 billion that can be applied for just that's what it's for, is to fix the infrastructure.
Yeah. So when you turn on the water treatment plant, you're not just leaking water all over the city.
Right. So.
Yeah,
we've got to do a better job of managing our water resources because Texas is out of water. We're up to 30 million people. Mm-hmm. We used to water ourselves with windmills and cisterns and stuff like that, but those days are gone.
Yeah.
The state manages all the surface water. It's all allocated. There's no new surface water, so we got to do a better job of managing.
In Lubbock, I was covering a city council meeting in Lubbock, and this is an interesting story. There's a neighborhood there that has $750,000 homes in it.
Yeah. And
they all have their own wells. Well, the wells were drilled so many feet below the ground based on where the water table was maybe 5 years ago, right? Fairly new homes. Well, the water table has since dropped below their wells. And so they're either going to have to drill new wells or, hey, Lubbock, annex us.
Yeah.
And Lubbock says, well, y'all got a bunch of $750,000 homes. Let's go ahead and annex it, right?
Yeah.
So they're happy
Collect
to
the taxes.
So they're going to run the water systems and the sewer systems in through that neighborhood. But the interesting thing about the neighborhood is all the streets aren't named like, Pleasant Way, how people, expensive. They're all named County Road 1701. County Road 1702. So they're going to have to rename the streets.
Probably. They probably will.
But that right there shows you how bad the water, or how thing. You have a $750,000 home average neighborhood, and their water table just drops in 5 years.
The Ogallala. So we talk a lot about urban sprawl, and we lose about a farm a week in Texas, but we still got plenty of land.
Right.
But the real problem is we're out of water. Mm-hmm. That's the crucial thing. That's the deciding factor.
Before we go, I want to go back to this treaty with Mexico, because a lot of people from Del Rio and Eagle Pass and stuff watch our show. It all starts back up beyond Amistad and Falcon, the two major reservoirs along the Rio Grande. What are the feds doing? Are they just not?
Well, both those lakes are extremely low. I think 26% capacity on one and maybe 19 on the other. And we complain because the treaty with Mexico, they're not releasing their water, and they're not. But we're not doing things to help ourselves. We spend millions of dollars on stormwater drainage when we should be capturing it. Doing rainwater harvesting and using that, and that's pretty clean water if you catch it off rooftops, warehouses and distribution centers, things like that. It doesn't take much to clean it up, but you don't even have to clean it up to use it for irrigation or manufacturing. We're not doing that. One of the smartest things we could do on the Rio Grande is we do have high rainfall events, and then that water goes right by all those the valley and out into the bay, right into the Gulf. Mm-hmm. We need to build off-channel storage. We need to capture some of that to save it for when we get in times like we're in now. We did that on the Colorado for our rice farmers.
Right.
And that's working well, because when the Highland Lakes are low, which they are now, we're not releasing any water down to Colorado. Our rice farmers have reserved water in reserve that they can use, but we're not doing that on the Rio Grande. We need to start. I've already talked about the infrastructure problem that needs to be fixed on the irrigation districts, and the cities need to fix that. Rainwater harvesting. We're not even talking about desal. We could do some of that.
And that's desalination.
Right.
Just put a plant on the beach.
Absolutely, and we're doing that in West Texas to fracking. Now we're fracking with brackish water.
Right.
We don't, not using as much fresh water. So we just got to be smart about how we do it. Quit sitting on our rear end complaining about Mexico not paying their bill. There's a lot of things we could do to help ourselves.
And of course, the feds would help with that.
Sure. We got the water. Like I said, we got the funding in the Water Development Board that these communities, all they have to do is apply for to get it.
All right. Well, this is Sid Miller. He is the Texas Agricultural Commissioner, and I guess Trump campaigner.
Yeah.
Right now.
We're taking that bus to all the swing states. I've got it back home. I've got to take Biden's picture off and put Kamala's on it now. So we had a little change of plans.
So are you going to have to rewrap it, or are you just going to cut out?
We're just putting a new face on it.
Oh, you're going to put it over?
Yeah, we'll probably just put Harris Biden. We did that. Something like that up there.
All right. Anyway, Sid Miller, thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Back to the studio.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thanks again for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Concho Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo Live mobile app to stay up to date with news from in and around the Concho Valley. Thanks again, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.